Hi, I'm Odell Borg. When you've been playing a flute for a while, or if you know someone that's been playing flute for a while, you get a sense that there's always something new that we want to do. You know what I mean? It's like you've been playing for a while, you want something new, you want something more, I don't know, it just gives us more juice, it gives us more creativity. It's always looking for something else. And bass flutes are really good for that. This is a bass flute in the key of E, and it's our shortest bass flute. The advantage to the key of E is that it plays well with guitar, because most of your open string guitars are E, and it's very easy to play. It has a really nice, smooth voice. E is a key that tends to go along with other instruments very easily. Then the key of D, which is the next size down in terms of length and in terms of depth, is the key of D. And D is, I like D a lot. Along with the E and D, what's really, I like both of them, is that they really tend to have the bassiness, but they can also be played as a lead instrument. Most basses tend to be used strictly for either background or for kind of a slow, contemplative sort of voice that really is very soothing and calming. Whereas mid-tone and high tones can be a little more lively if needed be. They have the option to do both. The key of E and D have the ability to also be a lead instrument. The low end of it, the high end, so it has a lot of versatility. The next key that's relatively low is a key of C. It's lower, it's bigger, quite a bit longer, and it has a lot of depth to it. And the key of C works well with, if you're playing a high C and a low C, they're really great together. The next low instrument would be the key of B. It's a little bit longer than the C. And again, as they get bigger and longer, they have more depth. They're also a little bit more challenging to play. Not necessarily harder, but more challenging, because as they get longer, you're having to cock your wrist a little bit more. They have pretty good sized fingering holes. Obviously, the disadvantage is that if you have small hands, it's a lot more challenging. And also, it tends to be difficult to cover the holes if you have thin fingers. The advantage to a large fingering hole is that you can play quarter notes and half notes. We do make basses in our Spirit Flute series, and there is a pretty good size advantage to this. This is also in the key of B, which is a very low, low bass flute. So this is the B you just heard, and this is the B in the Spirit Flute line. It's a lot shorter. So the advantage is that it is much closer to your mouth, so you don't have to cock your wrist as much. The fingering hole is about the same size. It has the same tonal quality. So it's really personal preference. Some people really like the aesthetic and the kind of the functional art, the sculptural look of the of the traditional series, and there's a lot to be said for that. But if you have smaller hands, or you want to travel with a bass flute, this is going to be a much easier and better flute for you. So the tonal quality, the depth of it is the same. It's just they're physically very different. Moving from the bass flutes, the next thing that I like is double flutes. Double flutes are just really fun. So you've got two different bores. You can play, one side is your drone side, and you have your melody side. You can play single or double. They're not very difficult to play. They take a little more breath, a little bit more breath control, because you have to sort of move your mouth back and forth, but you get used to it pretty quickly. And we do make them in quite a few different keys. Double flutes are fun because it's like two people playing at the same time. In our signature series, we make all of our designs in the key of A, G, and F sharp. They're a little bit different from our traditional series. The traditional series is the same key, like A, G, and F sharp. We use a 7/8 size bore. This is a 1-inch bore. So it has a little bit more depth, but it also, the internal mechanism, we put a lot more work into, not just the sculptural side of it, but the internal mechanism we put more work into, because we really, the idea is to minimize the turbulence as much as possible. By minimizing turbulence and getting a direct airflow, basically what it does, it makes the notes more responsive, very quick, and just nice and easy. And it doesn't take a lot of breath to play either, so you have a lot more control. This one would be, this is the Looking Wolf in the key of A. Again, we make the Looking Wolf in all three keys, A, G, and F sharp. Really fun to play because it's just right there. It's pretty cool. You can tell I get excited about them. This would be the Grey Wolf series, again in all three keys. This particular one is in the key of G. And this is the Hummingbird series. This one happens to be in F sharp. We also make it in key of G and A. This is F sharp. So between the bass flutes, the double flutes, the signature flutes, you have a lot of options to kind of move forward and expand just your whole repertoire and your collection. And check out the website. Check out all of them. That gives you a lot more detail, more sound samples, and hopefully you'll find one that you want.